After a car accident, Linda lost her memory. She remembered everyone, except for Marius, when her best friend Monica, who had been keeping watch for several days, realized that Linda truly didn't remember this name. Her expression changed abruptly. Linda, it's just the two of us here now. Tell me, is this your new trick of playing hard to get? Trying to attract my brother's attention? Linda was confused and her eyes were full of surprise. No, I really don't remember. Who is he? You're not lying to me. Then swear. Facing the suspicion, Linda didn't hesitate and immediately swore a malicious oath. Seeing that she dared to swear such an oath, Monica was as if struck by lightning and shook her shoulders violently. You actually lost your memory and forgot only my brother. Linda didn't understand why this was so shocking and couldn't help asking, who on earth is Marius? Monica's expression became subtle, looking at her with a headache. She had to explain bit by bit. Marius is my brother. Back then, when you came to my house to play, you fell in love with him at first sight and chased him for a full 7 years. Hearing these things she babbled about, Linda's mind went blank. So is he my boyfriend now? Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. A trace of embarrassment appeared on Monica's face. No, my brother is really cold towards you. He has someone he likes. So he not only rejected you but also all his other suitors. He only has his first love, Olivia, in his heart. Back then, when they broke up, he was so heartbroken that he drank heavily day and night and ended up in the hospital. He almost lost his life. He hasn't gotten over it all these years. This time, because he went to pick up Olivia, who just returned to the country, he left you alone on the highway on a rainy day, which led to your car accident and amnesia. These few words left Linda shocked into silence, with an extremely complicated expression. According to what you said, your brother is so cold to me. He already has someone he likes, and he even hurt me because of her. So what on earth did I like about him? You're not lying to me, are you? How could I lie to you? Everyone knows that you're head over heels in love with my brother. Monica shook her head and quickly handed her Linda's phone, motioning for her to unlock it. Linda took it with some doubt and skillfully entered a series of numbers, but couldn't unlock it. Your password is no longer your idol's. It's my brother's birthday. 0715. As Monica said, Linda indeed unlocked the phone. As soon as she opened the photo album, thousands of photos of a strange man came into her sight. She stared at the incredibly handsome face for a long time before realizing that what Monica said was probably true, because Marius's appearance was indeed her ideal type. However, in these secretly taken photos from various angles, all the looks he gave her were as cold as ice. As she looked at them, Linda felt a tightness in her chest and opened the memo. It was densely filled with many items related to Marius, his preferences and taste, and his taboos and dislikes. In addition, there were also her daily diaries recording her unrequited love. On the 7th Valentine's Day, the confession that I spent half a month rehearsing countless times was, as expected, rejected again. Marius, you said we could never have a future, but I still can't let you go. You were drunk again today and mistook me for her. You called her name hundreds of times. You said you can't forget her, even though you know there will be no response. You still want to wait like a moth to a flame. At this moment, I feel that we are the same, loving so pitifully and pathetically. Although she had lost her memory, the pain and frustration soaked in the words still made Linda feel empathy. Her heart felt as if stabbed, and a continuous pain welled up. Her nose was sour and swollen, and it seemed that tears were about to flow out. She stood there in a daze, unable to calm down for a long time. After a long silence in the ward, Monica finally spoke. So, what are you going to do next? Do you want to continue the treatment? My uncle is a very powerful expert in psychiatry, but he's overseas now. If you forget it, although I don't remember, I can feel that I must have been in a lot of pain when I liked your brother before. Since I've forgotten now, maybe it's a good thing. Linda took a deep breath, then lowered her head and deleted all the photos and memos. Monica looked at her in shock. Just as she was about to say something, her phone suddenly rang. After hanging up the phone, she picked up her bag and left in a hurry with a word. I have something to deal with at home. Linda, take good care of yourself. I'll come to see you when I'm done. With a bang, the door closed. Just as Linda was about to rest, a call came from home. Linda, didn't Mom mention to you last time that you had an arranged marriage when you were a child? This marriage has been postponed for several years. What's your consideration? Linda's mother had already expected her to refuse. Making this call was just a final attempt. But Linda was silent for a few seconds and unexpectedly agreed. Okay, Mom. After I deal with things here, I'll go back and fulfill the marriage contract. Linda's mother on the other end of the phone was shocked, and her voice was full of surprise. What did you say? You don't like your best friend's brother anymore. Before, you insisted on staying in City A and refused to return to City B because of him. You chased after him for so many years. Why have you suddenly changed your mind? Linda didn't know how to explain her amnesia and didn't want her family to worry about the car accident. So after thinking carefully, she gave a vague reply. I don't like him now, and I won't like him in the future either. After the call ended, Linda roughly estimated the time needed to deal with things here and bought a plane ticket back to City B half a month later. After buying the ticket, the nurse came to inform her of the re-examination. She sat in a wheelchair. Unexpectedly, as soon as she went out and looked up, she saw a very familiar face. She had just seen it in the photo album. Marius. The moment he saw her, the coldness between his eyebrows became even more intense, freezing instantly. How did you know I'm here? Are you even following me to the hospital? Linda didn't expect that her first meeting with Marius after losing her memory would be like this. Moreover, he was so disgusted with her. She was stunned for a moment before coming to her senses. You've misunderstood. I didn't follow you. I had a car accident on the highway before, so I'm recuperating in the hospital. Marius frowned and glanced at her a few times. Just as he was about to say something, someone in the ward suddenly came out. He then stepped forward to greet her. Olivia, you just got rid of the fever. I told you to have a good rest. Why did you come out? Hearing this name, Linda turned around instinctively and saw Olivia in a white dress with her long hair reaching down to her waist. The moment their eyes met in the air, Olivia showed a faint smile and looked at Marius in surprise. It's stuffy in the room, so I came out for some fresh air. Marius, who is this? Marius's eyes narrowed slightly. She's my sister's best friend, Linda, a designer from the company's design department. We're not really familiar. Upon hearing this, the corners of Olivia's lips turned up slightly, and she said gently, Miss Linda, nice to meet you for the first time. I'm Olivia. You have your head wrapped like this. Did you have an accident? Linda nodded. Yes, I had a car accident, with a mild brain concussion, and I had amne. Before she could finish speaking, the nurse's shouting came from behind. Patient in bed 1124. Linda, it's time for your examination. Hearing this, Linda had no intention of chatting with people she no longer remembered. After casually saying a few words of farewell to the people in front of her, she quickly pushed the wheelchair to have the examination. On the contrary, seeing her completely different cold reaction from before, Marius frowned and looked at her for a rare moment. Every time she saw him before, didn't she always pester him non-stop? How could she leave so easily this time? After several routine examinations, Linda went to the pharmacy to pick up her medicine. Passing by the garden downstairs and seeing that the weather was nice and she wanted to bask in the sun, she went for a stroll alone. Just as she reached the pond, Olivia came towards her and stopped her. Miss Linda, you're also out for some fresh air. What a coincidence. Linda was also surprised to meet her here again and greeted her politely. Olivia was very friendly and soon took the initiative to push the wheelchair for her. Smiling brightly, Marius just received a call and went to deal with something. I'm a bit bored alone. How about we have a chat? Since you're Monica's friend and have worked with Marius for so many years, there are some things I want to ask you. I heard abroad that there was a girl who chased Marius for 7 years persistently. Do you know who that girl is? And what's Marius's attitude towards her? Hearing this, Linda froze for a moment and then quickly returned to normal. Her voice calm. I don't know, but after being chased for 7 years, he still only has you in his heart. It can be seen that you are the most important person in his heart, and everyone else doesn't matter. Hearing her speak so firmly, a trace of surprise appeared in Olivia's eyes, and her tone was a bit shy. You know the story between me and Marius. Does he often mention me? Remembering what Monica said about how much he loved Olivia, Linda nodded slightly. Yes. Olivia's face became even redder, and joy welled up in her eyes. Marius is 1 grade above me. He was a talented and popular campus heartthrob. There were countless suitors, but he fell in love with me at first sight. He chased me for a long time before I agreed to give it a try. After we got together, he doted on me everywhere. He would accompany me to class and the library, spread roses all over the campus to celebrate our anniversary, and be jealous for a long time because someone confessed to me. We dated for 4 years. Everyone said that I was the love of his life. He also told me countless times that he would marry me after graduation. But I didn't want to be a good wife and mother. I had my own dreams to achieve. So I refused his proposal, chose to leave him, and went abroad for further study after breaking up. But over the years, I knew that he never let me go. So I decided to return to the country. When the plane landed in City A, I was actually a bit worried. But the moment I saw him rushing to the airport in the heavy rain and picking up my luggage, I knew that in fact, nothing had changed. I caught a cold due to not getting used to the local conditions these days, and he has been taking care of me. I can feel that he wants to mention getting back together, but I don't know why he always doesn't say it. I thought he was attracted to that girl, so I wanted to ask you about it. Linda listened quietly to her talking about these old stories, but there was no ripple in her heart. Instead, she smiled. I think he cares about you so much that he definitely won't propose getting back together casually and hastily. Maybe he's preparing a surprise. Hearing this, Olivia felt at ease. She waved her hand to say goodbye but accidentally dropped her phone into the water. She instinctively bent down to pick it up but lost her balance and fell into the pond. Seeing her accidentally fall into the water, Linda was stunned for a moment and immediately pushed the wheelchair to call for help. But as soon as she turned around, she saw Marius running over and jumping into the water without hesitation to save Olivia. She coughed up several mouthfuls of water and gradually regained her breath. Only then did the anxious and worried expression on his face ease. Linda saw all his reactions clearly and wanted to call the doctor, but he stopped her sharply. You deliberately pushed Olivia into the water, instead of trying to save her. You want to pretend nothing happened and leave quietly. Linda didn't expect to be misunderstood like this. She fell because she was trying to pick up her phone. I didn't push her, and I didn't intend to stand by and watch her drown. Marius looked at her coldly and directly interrupted her. Pick up the phone. I just left for a while, and Olivia came to the pond for no reason and fell into the water. Who else could it be if not you? After that, he directly pushed Linda, wheelchair and all, into the swimming pool, his voice as cold as frost. Linda, for Monica's sake, I can tolerate your persistent pestering of me before, but Olivia is my bottom line. Since you don't know what's good for you, you have to pay the price for what you've done. After that, he called the bodyguards to stand guard everywhere and not allow anyone to approach and save her. The cold water poured into Linda's nose, mouth, and throat, making her extremely uncomfortable. She struggled alone in the water, and the wound on her leg burst open, and the blood gushed out, staining the pool red. As her strength gradually drained away, she trembled all over with pain and slowly sank into the deep water. In a daze, the last image she saw was Marius holding Olivia and leaving. I don't know how long it had passed, but when Linda opened her eyes again, she saw Monica's worried gaze. I just went to deal with something for a few hours. How did you fall into the pond? The doctor said that if you were rescued 1 minute later, you might not have woken up. You scared me to death. Remembering what happened before she lost consciousness, Linda fell silent. She wanted to tell Monica what had happened, but thinking that Marius was her brother, she held back. She gently shook her head, her voice weak and tired. I'm fine. Don't worry. Monica's eyes instantly turned red. Although she didn't say anything, she stayed by Linda's side in the ward for the next few days. During that time, she casually brought up Marius several times, seemingly trying to test Linda's thoughts. Linda, based on what I know about my brother, you confessed to him so many times. If it were someone else, he would definitely try every means to drive that person away. But he endured you for so many years. It can be seen that he still has some feelings for you, even if he might not realize it himself. Are you really not going to try to remember him? If Linda had heard these words just after waking up, she might have believed them. But after what happened when she fell into the water, she only thought that such a statement was nothing but self-deception. She showed Monica the photos that her colleagues had sent her in the past 2 days, which showed Marius accompanying Olivia to go shopping, dine, and watch movies and being encountered by chance. Her tone was as calm as still water. The only reason he endured it was for your sake. Monica, since God made me forget everything related to him, it means that there is no fate between us. Now that the person he has been waiting for has come back, it's time for me to let go of this doomed relationship. Seeing that she had truly thought it through, Monica didn't try to persuade her anymore. she just let out a deep sigh. Alas, I hope more than anyone else that my brother can come to his senses and be with you. Then you would be my sister-in-law, and we could always be together. But since you've decided to give up, I won't force it anymore. I won't interfere in my brother's affairs with his first love either. We'll always be good sisters. Linda nodded firmly and gently hugged her. The two sisters whispered some more, and then Monica went to complete the discharge procedures and took her to the car. You must be bored after staying in the hospital for so long. I've organized a gathering and invited some people to liven things up and celebrate your discharge. Thinking that this might be the last time she would get together with these friends, Linda didn't refuse and went to the club with her. But when they reached the private room and opened the door, both of them were stunned, looking at Marius and Olivia sitting in the center. Monica was full of surprise. Brother, why are you here? Several friends who had helped invite people pulled them in and explained. Didn't you say the more people the better? So I also invited Marius. He even brought Miss Olivia. Is it lively enough now? Monica stared at the person speaking with her eyes wide open. Linda knew what she was worried about and quickly pulled her aside. It's okay. Since they're here, let it be. Anyway, I don't remember the past, so I won't be sad. Monica then gave up and pulled her to sit down. Throughout the night, although the room was noisy, the atmosphere was always subtle. Marius took off his coat and draped it over Olivia, watching him block the glasses of wine that were being offered to her one by one, and peeling fruits and feeding them to her without caring about others. Every move was so intimate and doting, without hiding his love at all. Linda watched quietly. Although her heart felt a bit stuffy, she wasn't in pain. It seemed that forgetting those memories was actually a blessing for her. Monica thought she was feeling sad, so she quickly called a group of people to play games, trying to distract her. Linda was very lucky. She won more than 10 rounds in a row and only lost one round. Everyone was shouting to punish her. She didn't want to play those boring games, so she simply chose the truth option. In an instant, everyone's eyes shifted between her and Marius, and their tone was full of excitement. Okay, then tell us the most unforgettable relationship in your life. Hearing this, before Linda could say anything, Marius's expression changed first. He instinctively glanced at her, his eyes as cold as ice. Linda knew that he was warning her not to speak nonsense in front of Olivia. But now, she couldn't remember anything. Even if she wanted to accept the punishment, she could only barely squeeze out a few ambiguous words to deal with everyone. The most unforgettable relationship for me should be my first love. He is my best friend's brother. I seem to have fallen in love with him at first sight. I've written stacks of love letters, and the secretly taken photos, when printed out, also make several thick albums. Everyone knows that I love him deeply, but he doesn't like me. She said these words with a frank smile, but the private room fell into a dead silence. Olivia, who had been watching coldly, vaguely sensed something and held on to Marius, whose face was gloomy. Marius, you and Miss Linda. Marius was shocked. He tightly held her hand and flatly denied it. I have nothing to do with her. From beginning to end, it's just her wishful thinking and self-affection. He said every word firmly and without any room for doubt. Then he didn't stay any longer. He pulled Olivia and turned around and left in full view of everyone. The looks from the people in the room were all filled with sympathy and pity. Monica, who had been silent, couldn't hold back any longer and rushed out. Linda realized what she was going to do and quickly chased after her. She saw the scene of the brother and sister arguing in the garage. Linda is my best friend. Why did you humiliate her in front of so many people? She has liked you for so many years. Can't you be a little more merciful to her out of consideration for her sincere feelings? I endured her for 7 years. I refused her so many times euphemistically for your sake. Isn't that merciful enough? Her love is nothing but endless trouble for me. Monica was so angry that she almost lost her mind, and her voice was hoarse. Don't worry. This time she will never like you again. Since you left her on the road last time, she had a car accident and got a brain concussion. I only gave her a ride home out of consideration for you. Why can't I leave her halfway? Even if she had a car accident, if I could turn back time and do it 100 times, I would still abandon her 100 times for Olivia. If she's still holding a grudge about this, you can tell her to stay away from me in the future. The sound of a car door slamming came from a distance. Linda didn't want them to find out that she had heard this argument and cause unnecessary embarrassment, so she quickly turned around and left. After returning home alone, she scanned the whole house and then sorted out all the things related to Marius that she had collected over the years. Then she threw them all into the trash can. During the following weekend, she stayed at home and packed most of her luggage. On Monday, Linda went to the company and handed the prepared resignation application to the HR department. When the HR heard that she was resigning, they were stunned. "Aren't you still on leave because of the car accident? I heard that the position of the design department director is vacant, and Mr. Marius intends to promote you. Why are you suddenly resigning?" According to Monica, after graduating, in order to see Marius every day, Linda submitted her resume and joined the design department of Marius's family group. In the past 3 years, she had worked conscientiously, just to be closer to Marius and stand by his side openly. But now, she didn't remember him, nor did she remember the feeling of liking him. So, facing the reluctant HR, she smiled softly. "I want to go home and will stay in my hometown from now on." The HR didn't try to persuade her anymore and handed over the stamped application form. "Okay then, I'll give this application to Mr. Marius for signature, and then the resignation process will be completed." After returning from the HR office, Linda was stopped by her department colleagues on the way. "Mr. Marius just called a meeting of the design department. It seems that he's going to announce the new director. The meeting is about to start. Come with us." Linda nodded and followed them to the office. On the way, several colleagues smiled at her and congratulated her. "Linda, in the past 3 years in the department, you've participated in designing so many major projects, and your works have won so many international gold awards, both emotionally and rationally. You deserve the position of director. Yeah, with so many achievements in your hands and Mr. Marius valuing you so much, we all believe that you're the most suitable person for the position of director. Once this good news is announced later, you have to treat us to dinner tonight." Having worked together for so long, Linda knew that they were sincere. She had wanted to tell them that she was about to resign, but considering that Marius hadn't signed yet, she decided to announce it at dinner tonight. "It doesn't matter if I become the new director or not, but I really want to treat everyone to dinner tonight. And I also have some news to tell you all." The group chatted as they walked and soon arrived at the meeting room. Linda chose a corner and sat down. When everyone was present, Marius pushed the door open on time, looked around, and got straight to the point. "I believe you've all heard the rumors. The purpose of this meeting today is to announce the candidate for the new director of the design department. If you have anything to say, please feel free to speak up." Everyone's eyes fell on Linda. She also wanted to stop the announcement of this decision before things were finalized. So, after thinking for a moment, she raised her head, met Marius's calm eyes, took a deep breath, and stood up. "Mr. Marius, over the years, thanks to your trust, you've entrusted me with so many projects. I've also worked hard with my colleagues and completed them successfully, living up to your trust. Although I don't know who you have in mind for the director, before the official announcement, I voluntarily apply." Before she could say the words, "Withdraw from the candidacy for the director position," Marius interrupted her. "As for the candidate for the director position, among the current 10 designers in the design department, the works of the other designers are not as substantial as yours, but you lack seniority. So I've decided to appoint a new director with rich experience and seniority from outside to take up this important position." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone in the design department was greatly surprised. Linda was also stunned on the spot. The next second, Marius's voice resounded throughout the meeting room. "Let me introduce to you the new director of the design department, Olivia." With a bang, the door of the meeting room was pushed open, and Olivia walked in with a smile and started to introduce herself. "Hello, everyone. I'm Olivia, a doctoral student from the Milan Design Institute. I have won the European Young Design Award." The room fell into a dead silence. Everyone looked at each other, and their expressions became very subtle. There was no other reason. It was just that several designers present had also won the awards mentioned in Olivia's self-introduction. Moreover, she had no work experience. Being appointed to this position right after graduation made it difficult for everyone to accept, especially several senior designers who had been working for nearly 5 years. They couldn't help but speak up. "Mr. Marius, we unanimously believe that Miss Olivia lacks some work experience and needs to be tempered for another 2 years before she can take up the position of director. In comparison, Linda is more suitable for this position." Once someone spoke up, the colleagues in the design department nodded in agreement. Olivia's eyes instantly turned red, and she looked at Marius with a wronged expression. Seeing her tears, A trace of pity flashed across Marius's face, and his gaze towards Linda immediately became sharp and cold. Olivia is a top graduate from a prestigious university and has won countless international awards. In terms of both vision and ability, she is far better than Linda. Linda has indeed been involved in many projects, but all of this was possible only with the strong support of the design department's profound foundation. Even if I hand all these over to Olivia, she can still deliver a perfect result, and maybe even do better. So the position of the design department director belongs to Olivia, and there's no need to discuss it further. Being mocked like this in public, even though Linda no longer had any feelings of liking for him, she was still so humiliated that her face turned pale. After Marius made the announcement, he ended the meeting and then led Olivia out quickly. The HR who had been waiting outside for a long time saw him and immediately handed over Linda's resignation application. Mr. Marius, here is a resignation notice that requires your review and signature. Marius's eyes were cold. Without even looking at it, he directly signed it. After watching him pull Olivia away, the colleagues in the design department swarmed around Linda and kept comforting her. But Linda was very calm. She smiled and tightly held the signed agreement in her hand. Actually, it doesn't matter if I become the director or not, because I've already decided to resign. Mr. Marius has just signed to approve my resignation application. Today is my last working day. The future is long. And everyone, take care. We'll meet again if we're destined. Hearing that she was leaving, everyone was shocked and reluctant to part with her. They even said that they would go to find Mr. Marius again to fight for the director position for her. But Linda just smiled and shook her head, thanked them one by one, and then returned to the office to start packing her things. After work, she treated her colleagues to dinner and bid farewell to them in a melancholy atmosphere. After returning home, she contacted a real estate agent and listed this apartment for sale at the lowest price. It was sold the next day. She completed the transfer procedures and made an agreement with the buyer to move out in 2 days. After finishing all these things, she received a call from Monica. Linda, tomorrow is my birthday. You haven't forgotten about it because of being busy, have you? I've been waiting for your gift. How could I forget your birthday? I've already prepared the gift, and I'll definitely give it to you tomorrow. Linda not only prepared the gift but also planned to tell Monica the news that she was leaving. In previous years, in order to spend more time with Marius, she would always arrive at the birthday party venue early. But this time, she waited until halfway through the party before hailing a car and rushing over. As usual, the birthday party was held at Marius's family's old house. Linda had visited Marius's house countless times and was very familiar with everything here. She went in through the back door. In the hall, they were just blowing out the candles. Monica was surrounded by a group of people in the center, looking very happy. Marius's father and mother stood on her left with smiles on their faces, and Marius, accompanied by Olivia, stood on the right. They looked like a happy family. Linda watched from a distance and heard the servants of the Marius family whispering, "The young master and this Miss Olivia have been broken up for so many years. I thought there was no chance for them. After all these twists and turns, it's still her. He's so infatuated. Tell me about it." The young lady's best friend chased the young master for so many years but still couldn't win his heart. It shows that the young master really loves Miss Olivia to the core. Over the years, the master and the madam have been urging the young master to get married, but he always made excuses. This time, he brought her home in person. It seems that he's made his stance clear. Maybe the good news is coming soon. Linda had already forgotten the past related to Marius and had decided to let go of him completely. In the future, no matter who he liked or who he was going to marry, it had nothing to do with her. So when she heard these words, she felt nothing in her heart. She silently accompanied them in singing the birthday song. When she looked up again, she met Marius's gaze. Seeing her, he frowned, leaned over and said something to Monica, and then she looked over and squeezed out of the crowd. Linda gently hugged her, gave her the birthday gift, and said with a smile, "Happy birthday." Monica had been waiting for her all night and was about to pull her to eat the cake, but she shook her head. "It's a bit noisy with so many people. I won't go over. You go ahead and take care of things. I'll go to your room and wait for you. I have something to tell you later." Monica was also afraid that she would be sad if she went over and saw Marius, so she agreed. Linda avoided the crowd and skillfully entered Monica's room on the 3rd floor. She sat on the sofa for half an hour and felt a bit sleepy, so she closed her eyes and took a short nap. In a daze, She heard the sound of the door opening and thought Monica had come back. But when she opened her eyes, the person she saw was Olivia. She had a sullen face and looked at her intently, and her tone was not friendly. "Didn't you say you've given up? Why do you keep showing up in front of Marius? I'm telling you, he only has me in his heart. Even if you do more things to attract attention, he won't like you. You'll never be able to compete with me." Linda didn't expect her to come and say these things. She was stunned for a few seconds before coming to her senses and explaining, "I'm here to give Monica a birthday gift and will leave soon." Upon hearing this, the wariness in Olivia's eyes not only didn't decrease but increased, and there was also a layer of disgust added. "Over the years, you've been sticking to Marius like a leech, throwing yourself at him without any sense of shame. Weren't you just acting cute and coquettish with Monica? Marius is really unlucky to have a sister who can't tell right from wrong and takes sides against her own family." No matter how unpleasant things Olivia said about Linda, she wouldn't care. But when she heard her start to scold Monica, Linda's eyes immediately turned cold. "Does Marius know that you secretly speak of his own flesh and blood sister like this?" In the face of her questioning, Olivia sneered, "Marius will dote on me unconditionally. So what if I scold her? Besides, you and Monica are just a pair of shameless bitches. Am I not telling the truth? Are you so angry because I've hit the mark and you're getting angry out of embarrassment? 7 years ago, you broke up with him abruptly and went abroad, almost killing Marius. Monica, as his sister, felt sorry for her brother but never once scolded you. Now you want to get back together with Marius. Yet you scold Monica behind his back. Who do you think is really disgusting and despicable?" Olivia didn't expect her to dare to scold back with these words. She was so angry that she slapped her. Linda didn't back down either and raised her hand to slap her back. Olivia covered her stinging face, and tears of anger welled up in her eyes. She rushed up and started fighting with her. During the argument between the two of them, they knocked over the aromatherapy on the table. The flame ignited the bedspread and then the carpet, quickly turning into a big fire. Thick smoke filled the air. When the two of them realized it, the whole room was engulfed in flames. Linda struggled to open the door, but Olivia pushed her into the fire. The blazing flames licked and burned her skin, making her tremble all over with pain. Just as she was trying to put out the fire on her body, she saw the bedroom door being violently opened. Marius rushed in. He was only half a meter away from her, but his gaze only swept over her for a moment. Then it landed on Olivia, and he rushed towards her and hugged her tightly in his arms. The smoke filled Linda's nose, making her breathing weaker and weaker. She raised her red, burned hands and grabbed Marius's leg. But he just glanced down and then pulled his leg out forcefully and left in big strides. Looking at his figure disappearing into the thick smoke, she completely lost consciousness and fainted. Linda didn't expect to be alive. When she opened her eyes again, she saw Monica with red eyes from crying. "Linda, it's good that you're okay. Otherwise, I would feel guilty for the rest of my life. Does your wound hurt? Don't worry. I've already found the best doctor to treat you. I definitely won't let you have any scars. It's just a minor injury. I'm fine. Monica, don't feel guilty. And don't worry." There was a burning pain in her hands that was unbearable. Linda still gritted her teeth and hugged her with these hands. "Actually, there's something I wanted to tell you yesterday. It might be a bit late now, but don't blame me when you hear it. I've decided to go back to City B this afternoon. There's an arranged marriage at home urging me to get married. I've already bought the plane ticket. Will you give me a ride for the last time later?" "Okay." Monica didn't expect her to leave suddenly. The tears that had just stopped flowed down again. "What? Why are you leaving all of a sudden? And getting married? Will you never come back after that? What should I do if I miss you?" "Wah." Linda sighed and coaxed her softly for a long time before finally calming her down. The two of them said a lot of intimate words reluctantly. Only then did Monica reluctantly go to complete the discharge procedures for her. Just as Linda endured the pain and changed her clothes, Marius pushed the door of the ward open with a dark face and a cold gaze. "You hit Olivia and then set fire to try to burn her to death, didn't you?" When she saw him again, Linda felt nothing in her heart, and her tone was also cold. She said that, and you believe her, without even looking at the evidence. "Yes, no matter what Olivia says, I will believe her unconditionally. I don't need any evidence." Marius didn't even want to give her a chance to explain and didn't listen to her at all. Looking at his cold gaze, Linda knew that no matter how much she said, he wouldn't believe her. She didn't make any more futile explanations and just smiled silently. So, what are you here for now? Of course, I want you to go and apologize to Olivia. Without giving her a chance to object, Marius grabbed her injured hand and was about to drag her to apologize. Linda's wound oozed blood again from his tight grip, and tears welled up in her eyes from the pain. But she endured it and didn't cry. She struggled hard to shake him off. The next second, Monica, who had just come back, saw this scene and immediately protected Linda behind her. Marius looked at the two of them coldly, and his tone was beyond dispute. Get out of the way. She must apologize to Olivia today. I won't. I'm sure Linda didn't do anything wrong. You're biased towards Olivia. But there's a camera in my room. Everything that happened yesterday can be traced. If you want to force Linda to apologize, you have to wait until we've watched the surveillance video. Monica didn't back down at all and retorted with a hoarse voice. Marius was so angry that the veins on his forehead were throbbing. Just as he was about to speak, a message from Olivia suddenly came in. He glanced at the screen, forcefully swallowed his anger, left a word, and then left in a hurry. Then we'll go back and watch the surveillance video tonight. When the evidence is conclusive, let's see what else you can say. Watching him slam the door and leave, the room fell silent again. Monica treated Linda's wound while saying sorry to her. Linda gently shook her head and wiped the tears from the corner of her eye. Monica, you don't have to say sorry because the person who did something wrong is never us. I'm leaving soon. In the future, you have to take good care of yourself. Monica nodded firmly, accompanied her to leave the hospital, picked up the luggage, and directly took her to the airport. The plane flying to City B was already announcing the boarding notice. Linda gave her one last hug and then turned around and entered the boarding gate without hesitation. After boarding the plane, she deleted all of Marius's contact information. Monica's last message also came in at this time. Linda, you have to be happy every day after you get home. Don't worry, I will definitely find out the truth tonight and clear your name. Linda smiled and looked at the gradually darkening screen, then turned her gaze to the white clouds outside the plane window. For her, what the truth was and what justice was didn't really matter anymore. After all, Marius, along with all the pain he brought her, had already disappeared from her memory. She would bid farewell to all of this, forever and completely. Linda stood at the door with a suitcase, looking tired. She hid the bandage on her injured hand inside her sleeve. After making sure there was no obvious sign, she raised her hand and knocked on the door. Who is it? Linda's mother's questioning voice came from inside the door. Linda's mother opened the door and saw Linda. She asked in surprise, Linda, you actually came back. I thought you were lying to me before. Then she turned around and shouted into the room, Honey, Linda's back. What? Linda really came back. Linda's father quickly stood up from the sofa and walked towards the door. He took Linda's suitcase into the house, and Linda's mother took Linda's arm and pulled her in. Why did you really come back? What about you and Marius? Before Linda's mother could finish her words, Linda interrupted. Mom, I had a car accident and lost my memory. I don't remember anything about him. Hearing that Linda had had a car accident, Linda's mother quickly wanted to take her for a checkup. Linda was afraid that Linda's mother would find the injury on her hand, so she quickly stopped her. I'm fine. You really don't have to worry. I didn't see people clearly before. I fell in love with someone I shouldn't have and pestered him for many years. Now, this car accident and amnesia are like a punishment for my past self. What about that arranged marriage you mentioned? I always refused to fulfill it before. I'm afraid I hurt the other side's feelings too much. Now that I'm back, I'll go and meet the man. Upon hearing this, Linda's father and mother couldn't help but laugh. Then they lovingly hugged Linda in their arms. Silly girl, there's no arranged marriage. We just saw that you were always obsessed with your best friend's brother and there was no result. So we lied to you. You're free to be with whoever you want. Mom and Dad won't force you. But your best friend's brother is out of the question. Over the years, you've been the only one making efforts, and he never responded. You'll be tired of loving like this. Hearing her parents' loving words, Linda couldn't help but feel her eyes well up. She hugged the two of them tightly again. I know. Mom and Dad. Maybe this amnesia is a chance given to me by God. I will never like him again. Next, Linda had a happy 2 days at home and decided to start a new life. She submitted several rounds of resumes and successfully received an interview notice from the Nestor family group in City B. Mom, I have an interview in the afternoon. I'm going out. Linda shouted towards the kitchen while changing her shoes. Linda's mother poked her head out and said with concern, Be careful and watch out on the road. Linda stood downstairs of the Nestor family group. Thinking that there was still some time, she decided to buy a cup of coffee first. Customer number 627. Please pick up your order. Linda came to the pickup counter and was about to take her coffee when her hand touched another man's hand. Sorry. Linda quickly withdrew her hand and apologized. She hurriedly checked the receipt in her hand and found that it was number 627. She looked up at the man in confusion and happened to meet his gaze. The man shook the coffee in his hand and explained, "The label says number 626. I guess the clerk called the wrong number." At this time, the clerk came with another cup of coffee and apologized. "Sorry, miss. I called the wrong number just now. This is your coffee." Linda took the coffee, smiled, and waved her hand. "It's okay. Hello, I'm Noah." The man just now stopped Linda and reached out to introduce himself. "I also work here. Maybe we'll be colleagues in the future." Hearing him say this, Linda shook his hand and replied, "Hello, I'm Linda." When Noah heard Linda's name, it sounded familiar to him, but he didn't think too deeply about it. "I hope your interview goes well. Goodbye." Neither Linda nor Noah expected to meet again so soon. When Linda walked into the conference hall with her resume, she was a bit surprised to see Noah sitting in the middle, and she even forgot to introduce herself. Noah was looking down at his phone. When he realized that the person who had come hadn't made a sound for a while, he looked up and was surprised to find that it was Linda. "Hello, all the interviewers. I'm Linda. I graduated from." The interview went smoothly, and the joining date was quickly finalized. When Linda came out, Noah stopped her and said, "What a coincidence. I'm the manager of the Nestor family group and in charge of the design department. Since we'll be colleagues in the future and it's getting late, how about I treat you to dinner?" Noah was a bit too enthusiastic, and Linda wasn't used to it. She refused, saying, "Don't bother, Mr. Noah. I have an appointment tonight." When Noah heard that Linda had an appointment, he quickly asked, "Is it with your boyfriend?" Although Linda didn't understand what Noah meant, she still replied politely, "No." Upon hearing Linda's answer, Noah let out a sigh of relief. It was good that it wasn't her boyfriend. Linda joined the company smoothly. With her strong work ability and gentle way of dealing with people, she quickly integrated into the design department of the Nestor family group. However, Linda played with the flowers on the table, let out a sigh of distress, and said, A colleague beside her heard Linda's sigh and leaned over to ask, "Someone sent you flowers again?" "If I had a suitor who sent me flowers every day, I wouldn't be sighing like this." Linda pulled out 2 roses and handed them over. "I hope you can also get out of the single state soon." What Linda was worried about wasn't that a suitor sent her flowers, but that the suitor was Noah, who was also her current leader. This additional relationship made Linda a bit worried. On the one hand, because of what happened with Marius, she didn't have the intention of falling in love for the time being. On the other hand, she was also afraid that if the pursuit relationship was discovered, the relationship between the two as a leader and a subordinate would be gossiped about by other employees. "Linda, can we have dinner together tonight?" Linda received another invitation from Noah. Before, when she received such messages, Linda would directly refuse. But today, Linda deleted the words of refusal in the chat box and replied, "Okay." Noah on the other side replied instantly. Linda could tell Noah's excitement even through the text. "I'll book a restaurant. How about Italian cuisine?" "Sure." The reason why Linda agreed to Noah's invitation was that she also wanted to take this opportunity to make things clear between the two of them. When Linda arrived at the restaurant, Noah had already been there. The waiter led Linda to her seat, and Noah handed a bouquet of flowers to Linda. "You gave the roses to someone else today. Don't you like them?" Linda lowered her head and sniffed the exquisitely wrapped jasmine. "No, I like the flowers very much." "What about the person who sent the flowers?" Linda was taken aback by the question, and it took her a long time to say, "Noah, I don't think we're a good match." "Linda, I'm serious about you." Linda couldn't give Noah an answer and just remained silent. As a suitor, Noah was qualified. He would send fresh flowers every day and various gifts with love letters. Although he was pursuing her, he didn't show any special behavior in the company. He knew how to maintain a proper balance and was polite in his actions. The two of them remained silent, and only the sound of the violin in the restaurant could be heard in their ears. "Let's have dinner first." In the end, it was Noah who broke the silence. Linda was a bit upset. She didn't eat much of the food but drank a lot of wine instead, and she was faintly drunk. Noah took Linda's wine glass and gently persuaded her in a low voice. Don't drink anymore. You'll get drunk later. Perhaps because of the wine. The little bit of grievance that Linda had suppressed in her heart was poured out by her under the influence of alcohol. I've already forgotten him. So why does my heart still hurt? What did he do to you? Noah was puzzled about who the he in Linda's words was. Linda was slightly drunk and mumbled. It was my fault that I pestered him for so long. But I've let go of it since I lost my memory. Why did he push me into the water without listening to my explanation? Why did he think it was my fault just because of her one-sided story? As Linda spoke, she exposed the burn scars that had healed but were still a bit hideous. Noah looked at the scars, and his pupils couldn't help but dilate. His fingers trembled as he touched Linda's scars. From Linda's fragmented words, Noah could also make a rough guess. Presumably, Linda had met a scumbag before, been deeply hurt, and that was why she had refused his pursuit several times. Noah's eyes were full of pity. He lowered his head and kissed Linda's scars. Linda, I will make you completely let go of him and accept me. Miss Olivia, this is the design drawing of the new products that the group is going to launch this time. Please take a look. If there's no problem, I'll submit it for signature. Olivia took the design drawing handed over by the girl in front of her, casually flipped through it twice, and then threw it aside. Is this kind of design something that can be submitted to the president for signature? Facing Olivia's questioning, the girl was flustered and at a loss. This was finalized by Miss Linda and the others before. This sentence made things even worse. When Olivia heard it, she was like adding fuel to the fire. Olivia threw the documents on the table onto the floor, and the documents scattered everywhere. Tell Mr. Marius that Linda's previous design is not acceptable. I will lead the design department to redesign it. The girl seemed to want to say something, but Olivia snapped at her. Didn't you hear me? Get out. The girl couldn't hold back her tears any longer. She quickly picked up the papers scattered on the floor and ran out of the office. Alice, what did Miss Olivia say? The other colleagues asked. Miss Olivia said it's not okay, and she will lead us to redesign it. When the others saw that Alice was crying, they quickly went up to comfort her. Everyone was indignant. Olivia had only been in office for a few days, and every time they went in to report work, they would be scolded by her. All the previous design works had been rejected, but she didn't even give a reason for the rejection. The design department was already dissatisfied with her being appointed out of the blue. Coupled with this way of doing things, the people in the design department were complaining a lot. I quit. A senior designer directly threw his work badge on the table, seeing someone taking the lead in expressing their dissatisfaction. Several other senior designers also quit their jobs. With my qualifications, I can find a job anywhere. Why should I stay here and put up with her nonsense? She has no ability but a big temper. During this period, the people who had been oppressed by Olivia one after another submitted their resignation letters to the HR department. The HR department suddenly received so many resignation letters from the design department and didn't know how to deal with them for a while. So they directly reported it to Marius. What have you been doing in the design department again? Marius angrily pushed the resignation letters of the people in the design department to Olivia. Olivia, who had never been scolded like this by Marius, had tears welling up in her eyes out of grievance. I just thought their previous design was not good and wanted them to redo it. I didn't expect them to threaten me by resigning. Regarding what Olivia had done in the company, Marius had always turned a blind eye. As long as it wasn't too excessive, he wouldn't interfere. But this time, a total of 22 people in the design department had submitted their resignation applications. Coupled with the fact that the production of the newly launched jewelry of the Marius family had dropped sharply recently, facing the pressure from the shareholders, Marius had to take care of it. You can go back and take a break for a while. I will choose a new director for the design department. When you've had a good rest, you can manage the design department together with him. Marius thought this way of handling things was already giving Olivia enough face. But when Olivia heard this, she was so angry that she slammed the door and left. Marius rubbed his forehead in frustration, thinking about the recent affairs of the design department. He couldn't help but think of the time when Linda was in the design department. At that time, there had never been such a mess of collective resignations, and the products designed had also sold very well. Marius rubbed his forehead in distress. Why did I suddenly think of that woman Linda? Thinking of the way Olivia's eyes were red from crying just now, Marius still chose a gift and sent a message to Olivia. Olivia, I was wrong today. I bought you a gift. How about having dinner together tonight? When Olivia received Marius's message, she smiled with satisfaction and deliberately waited for a while before replying. Okay, since you've said so, I'll reluctantly forgive you. Marius had dinner with Olivia in the evening and then took a walk by the riverside together after the meal. Olivia clung to Marius's arm and acted coquettishly. Will you accompany me to the amusement park tomorrow? Marius wasn't interested in such places. However, he had been dragged by Linda to go there twice before. He originally wanted to refuse Olivia, but then the image of Linda sitting on the carousel flashed through his mind. Somehow, he nodded and agreed to Olivia's request. Marius. It wasn't until Olivia called him twice that Marius came back to his senses. What's wrong? Olivia said angrily. What's wrong with you today? Why are you always distracted? Facing Olivia's questioning, Marius couldn't answer because this amusement park was the one he had been to with Linda before. He didn't know why, but today, when he saw some familiar places, he would think of Linda. Seeing that Marius didn't answer, Olivia became even angrier. Marius quickly comforted her. I'm sorry. Didn't you want to ride the carousel? I'll accompany you. When Olivia heard that Marius was willing to accompany her to ride the carousel, she was immediately delighted. After all, Marius had always refused to do such things that only little girls would do. Olivia even put a childish cartoon hairband on Marius's head, and Marius didn't refuse. The carousel provided a photo-taking service. Olivia specifically paid more money so that the staff could take a few more photos. Marius sat on the carousel feeling extremely uncomfortable, with his whole body tensed up. Finally, when it was over, he was dragged by Olivia to the side to choose the photos. Marius saw a photo of him and Linda among the tourist photos on the full wall. It should have been taken when Linda was in university. The three of them, Marius, Linda, and Monica, had come here together. The photo should have been taken by Monica with a Polaroid camera for him and Linda. It was obvious who had hung the photo on the wall. Marius. The staff said that over there is the couple photo wall. Let's hang our photo there too. Just as Marius was about to stop Olivia, he saw that she had already walked towards that direction, so he quickly chased after her. Unfortunately, it was still a step too late. Olivia still saw that photo. She tore the photo of Marius and Linda off the wall and questioned him harshly. So you've been distracted today because you were thinking of Linda. Marius's lips moved twice, and he wanted to open his mouth to explain, but he still didn't say anything. This silent reaction was almost a tacit admission. Olivia was so angry that she tore the photo into pieces, threw it into the trash bin next to it, and turned around and left. The date ended unhappily. Marius picked up the fragments of the photo that had fallen on the ground. There were some words written on the back of the photo. Marius recognized that it was Linda's handwriting. Only the words, "Lee likes Shin," were left on the back of the fragments. Marius stared at the photo in a daze. After hesitating for a long time, he still put the photo fragments into his pocket. When Olivia returned home, she threw all the things in the living room onto the ground to vent her dissatisfaction. She opened her phone, originally thinking that she could see Marius's apology message, but there was none. Olivia threw her phone onto the ground like a mad person. For several days in a row, Marius didn't come to apologize to Olivia, nor did he send any messages to her. Facing Marius's coldness, although Olivia was angry, she had to take the initiative to give in. Marius, I was too impulsive that day. Olivia came to Marius's office and tugged at his sleeve, acting coquettishly. It was originally Marius's fault in this matter. Now that Olivia had taken the initiative to apologize to him, he couldn't say anything more. You can go to work downstairs later. Marius's words were like giving Olivia a way out. Olivia didn't play hard to get anymore. Thank you, Marius. Let's not quarrel anymore. Okay. Marius replied with a simple, When Olivia returned to the design department, the newly promoted director had already sat in the deputy director's office. Remembering the criticism Marius had given her before, Olivia tried her best to raise a smile and greeted the other people in the design department. When the other people in the design department saw Olivia greeting them, they all pretended not to see it. Olivia awkwardly put down her hand, and the fake smile on her face couldn't be maintained anymore. When she walked back to her office, she could even hear their discussions about her, coupled with what happened at the amusement park that day. Olivia attributed all of this to Linda. The more Olivia thought about it, the angrier she became. She raised her hand and swept all the documents on the table to the ground. The sound of the documents falling on the ground attracted the attention of the people outside. Everyone in the office couldn't help but look towards Olivia's office. After venting her anger, Olivia looked at the people outside, got up, and slammed the door shut with a bang. Who's going to tell Miss Olivia about that design competition? Everyone shook their heads. No one wanted to run into Olivia's bad side. The deputy director had no choice but to go and tell her himself. He avoided the documents scattered on the ground and put the details of the design competition on Olivia's desk. There's a design competition in the company this year. These are the details of the design competition. The president asked Miss Olivia to lead the design department to complete the entries for the competition. When Olivia heard that it was assigned by Marius, she picked it up and took a look. Then she said to the deputy director, "You can go out." Because of the design competition, Olivia was unusually well behaved for 2 days and stayed in the office all day to complete the design manuscripts. Olivia picked up a pen and sketched on the paper, but then she tore the paper off, crumpled it into a ball, and threw it aside. Olivia wasn't particularly outstanding in design. The awards she won in university were nothing in the design department of the Marius family group, which was full of talented people. If the other people in the design department had helped and participated in the design together, there wouldn't be too big a problem. But Olivia was determined to prove that she was better than Linda, so she didn't allow anyone to interfere. At that time, when she took the position of director, it was a decision that Marius made despite all the objections. Everyone thought that she got the position through connections and had no ability. Well, she wanted to show them that she, Olivia, was better than Linda. Just when Olivia was at a loss, she found a beautifully designed manuscript in Marius's office. "Marius, whose manuscript is this?" Marius took it and took a look. He found that it was the one Linda had given him back then. At that time, Linda had excitedly introduced the design manuscript to Marius. "Marius, this is the ring I designed. Its name is Spring. The inspiration for this design comes from..." "Enough. Can you stop disturbing my work?" Marius impatiently threw the design manuscript aside. Linda's smile froze. She silently put the design manuscript back beside him and left the office. Now, looking at this manuscript, Marius was a bit lost in thought. It took him a while to answer Olivia. "It's Linda's." When Olivia heard that this manuscript was Linda's, a trace of jealousy flashed across her face, but she put the manuscript down as if nothing had happened. "Has this manuscript been turned into a product?" Marius didn't know why Olivia asked this, but he still answered truthfully, "No." After a pause, he continued, "She designed this for me back then." A few days later, Olivia handed the manuscript for the design competition to Marius. Marius thought the ring on the manuscript looked a bit familiar, similar to Linda's design of Spring. He hesitated for a moment, but in the end, he didn't say anything. It was clearly his dream that Linda, who had always been pestering him, had left his life. Recently, however, he had been thinking of her frequently, and this feeling made Marius feel strange. So even though he could tell that Olivia's design was similar to the manuscript left by Linda, he didn't say anything. "You've worked hard. I'll take you on a vacation after the design competition is over." Olivia looked up in surprise. Her relationship with Marius hadn't made much progress. Although Marius was with her, she could feel that Marius still remembered Linda and wasn't really that disgusted with Linda. This made her feel a sense of crisis. She had to hold Marius firmly in her grasp and take their relationship to the next level. Hearing that Marius was going to take her on a vacation, Olivia thought this was an excellent opportunity to strengthen their relationship. Olivia leaned against Marius and tried to kiss him, but Marius blocked her. "It's working hours." Marius took another document and said coldly, "If there's nothing else, you can go downstairs." "Linda, I'd like to entrust you with this design competition. Is that okay?" Linda stood up and said to Noah, "I've just joined the company not long ago. It's better to leave this to the more senior colleagues. This is the result of discussions with others." "Linda, everyone has seen your ability." The others in the conference room also nodded in agreement with Noah's opinion. Seeing that everyone recognized her so much, Linda no longer refused and readily accepted the task. "I will do my best and won't let down everyone's trust." After the morning meeting ended, Noah asked Linda to stay behind alone. "Mr. Noah, is there anything you want from me?" Noah was a bit unhappy when he heard Linda's address. "Linda, we're friends. There's no need to be so formal, is there?" Since Linda got drunk last time and Noah sent her home, Linda hadn't resisted his pursuit as much. Even Linda's father and mother were very satisfied with Noah. They had told Linda several times, "I think that boy, Noah, is quite nice." However, Linda currently had no plans to fall in love, so the two of them were just getting along as friends. Linda didn't like to have too much involvement with Noah in the company. "If there's nothing else, Mr. Noah, I'll be leaving now." Noah grabbed Linda. "The Marius family group will also participate in this competition. I sent someone to inquire, and their design this time is led by Olivia." Linda understood what Noah meant and nodded, saying, "I see." The theme of this design competition was the 4 seasons. Immediately, Linda thought of the spring she had designed before. She decided to design the other products according to the concept of spring. A few days later, Linda handed the designed works to Noah. Noah flipped through the designs and praised, "Linda, your designs are simply amazing, especially this spring. The result of the design competition should be out in a week or 2. You can come with me to the scene then." Facing Noah's praise, Linda felt a bit embarrassed. When the day to announce the results of the design competition arrived, Linda and Noah took a plane to City A together. Noah noticed that Linda's face hadn't looked good since they arrived in City A. "Marius will also be here today. It doesn't matter. I have nothing to do with him anymore." Linda interrupted Noah before he could finish his sentence. Linda had lost her memory and forgotten everything about Marius. She didn't remember her vigorous pursuit of Marius, nor did she remember the hurt Marius had caused her. But she clearly remembered everything Marius had done to her after she lost her memory. As for Marius, Linda didn't want to have any more to do with him. When they arrived at the competition venue, Linda entered the venue with Noah. At a glance, she saw Marius being held on the arm by Olivia. Marius and Olivia also saw Linda. Olivia held Marius's arm and came up to Linda to greet her. Linda. What a coincidence. Seeing Olivia's arrogant appearance, Linda didn't want to get entangled with her too much and pulled Noah to walk aside. Linda's retreat made Olivia even more arrogant. Looking at Noah standing beside Linda, she said, "Linda, isn't this your new boyfriend?" Marius stared at Linda and Noah with an unhappy expression. Clearly, Linda wasn't pestering him anymore. But when Olivia asked that question, Marius was actually a bit afraid that Linda would answer yes. Seeing that Linda didn't answer for a long time, Olivia was even more triumphant. "You can't still be obsessed with my boyfriend, can you?" Just as Linda was about to retort, Noah stepped in front of her. "Linda is my girlfriend. Please show some respect." After saying that, Noah pulled Linda away. It wasn't until they sat down in their seats that he apologized to Linda. "Sorry, Linda. She was being too arrogant just now." Linda shook her head and smiled, saying, "It doesn't matter. Thank you for standing up for me." It was time to announce the results of the competition. Everyone sat in their seats waiting for the host on the stage to read out the results. And Linda was also a bit nervous. Just as the host opened the envelope and was about to announce the results, someone suddenly came up and whispered a few words to the host. "Everyone, there has been a plagiarism incident in this competition. To ensure fairness, a judgment will be made regarding the plagiarism, and a re-evaluation will be carried out." Hearing about the plagiarism, there was an uproar among the audience. Plagiarism is a serious and malicious matter. Once someone is labeled as a plagiarist, their reputation in the industry will be ruined. The plagiarism incident was originally supposed to be resolved privately, but due to the demands of the people present, the organizer put the 2 works suspected of plagiarism on the screen behind. Linda looked over and was shocked to find that they were her work and Olivia's work. Linda looked at Olivia and Marius in disbelief. Olivia met Linda's gaze and showed a triumphant expression. Noah quickly asked, "Linda, did you show your design manuscript to anyone?" Noah had absolute trust in Linda. He didn't believe that Linda would plagiarize someone else's design. In this situation, he could only assume that Linda's manuscript had been leaked. Just as Linda was about to stand up and defend herself, she saw Olivia stand up and distort the facts. "Linda plagiarized my design. It's clearly you who plagiarized my design." Just as Linda was about to take out her design manuscript, she heard Olivia say, "I have the manuscript of this design." Olivia handed her manuscript to the staff of the organizer, who then gave it to the judges. Linda could only hand in her own manuscript as well. This was her design, and she had never plagiarized anyone. Noah held Linda's shoulder and comforted her softly. "It doesn't matter. The judges will figure it out. I believe in you." Everyone was waiting for the judge's verdict. The host read out the result given by the judges. After the judge's identification, The initial design manuscript provided by Miss Olivia is earlier than that of Miss Linda. As soon as these words were spoken, it was almost a judgment that Linda had plagiarized. Linda couldn't believe it. She rushed to the judges' panel and took the two manuscripts. The moment she saw the manuscript provided by Olivia, Linda was certain that it was her work. It should have been left behind at Marius's place when she resigned and not taken away. The others in the venue were talking and accusing Linda of plagiarism. Linda looked at Marius for help. Only if Marius admitted that this manuscript was designed by her could the charge of plagiarism be cleared. Marius saw Linda's pleading look, but he didn't say anything and didn't defend Linda either. Marius, did you give my manuscript to Olivia? Linda could no longer control her emotions. She directly held the manuscript in front of Marius, and her tone was full of disbelief. Marius felt a bit sad, and he was just about to speak when he was pulled by Olivia beside him. The judges present were also waiting for Marius's answer. This design manuscript belongs to Olivia. As soon as Marius said this, the glimmer of hope that Linda had originally had was immediately extinguished. She felt as if all the strength in her body had been drained away, and she could hardly stand. Noah quickly stepped forward to support Linda. Olivia looked at Linda's appearance and felt extremely proud. Until the farce ended, she walked up to Linda and Noah and taunted. What do you think of the hot topic that the Nestor family group is suspected of plagiarism? Marius beside her didn't stop Olivia when he heard her words but just watched coldly. Noah didn't want to argue with Olivia, so he said to Marius, I didn't expect Mr. Marius to actually help a plagiarist like this to distort the facts. Marius just glanced at Linda indifferently. What's wrong with defending my girlfriend? Looking at his attitude, Noah wanted to rush up and punch him, but Linda held him back. Linda thought Noah was afraid that this matter would affect the company's stock price. I will resign from the company and take this matter upon myself. It won't affect the Nestor family's stock price. Noah quickly explained, it's not because of the company's stock price. I'm standing up for you. Marius wasn't interested in listening to Noah's sweet words to Linda. He was about to leave with Olivia, but was stopped by Linda. Marius, consider all the previous entanglements as my apology to you. But you pushing me into the lake, leaving me in the fire, and this plagiarism incident today, consider them as my retribution. Let's write off everything between us. Marius stopped in his tracks. It took him a while to say a single word. Okay. Although Noah believed in Linda and was willing to take the risk of affecting the company's stock price to protect her, Linda didn't want to make things difficult for Noah because of this matter. She resigned on her own and took full responsibility for the plagiarism. When Linda was packing her things in the design department, everyone was a bit reluctant to part with her. Regarding the plagiarism incident, they fully believed in Linda. With Linda's ability, there was no need for her to plagiarize at all. When Noah came back from the board meeting, he saw Linda packing her things and quickly came over to stop her. I will explain to the board of directors. You are the victim in this matter. How can you bear the blame? With the reputation of plagiarism, how will you be able to stand in the industry in the future? Linda was very grateful and touched by Noah's support, but she really didn't want to drag Noah down. Because of this matter, although Noah was the second young master of the Nestor family group, he had been questioned by the directors several times and had been staying up late for several days to deal with this matter. Noah, thank you. I've saved some money from my work over the years, and I want to take a break for a while. Noah still wanted to persuade her to stay, but Linda refused. Then you can take a break for a while. After the heat of this matter passes, I'll ask you to come back. Looking at Linda's haggard face, Noah thought it would be good for Linda to take a break. Noah was afraid that Linda would stay at home and dwell on things and make herself unhappy after resigning. So he would come to visit Linda every now and then and forcefully drag her out to relax. Linda couldn't refuse Noah. Also, since staying at home like this made Linda's father and mother worried, she didn't refuse Noah's invitations. Over time, Linda's attitude towards Noah softened. Today was no exception. Noah booked a restaurant and invited Linda to have dinner together. The restaurant was in a tall building by the riverside. Looking out from the restaurant, there was a wonderful view of the river. Linda was looking at the river view while having dinner and felt much better. Just as Linda was about to say that there were no other people in the restaurant today, she saw Noah holding a bouquet of flowers and a jewelry box. Getting down on one knee. Linda, I like you. Will you be with me? As Noah spoke, he opened the box, revealing the diamond bracelet inside. I designed this for you. Linda, please don't refuse me. Okay. In fact, During their long time of getting along, Linda had already accepted Noah. Moreover, her amnesia was like an opportunity given to her by fate, allowing her to let go of things that didn't belong to her and start a new life. So when Noah confessed to her, she took the flowers and replied to Noah, "Okay." Noah didn't expect Linda to agree. For a moment, he stood there in a daze. It was Linda who spoke first. "Aren't you going to put the bracelet on me?" Noah clumsily took the bracelet out of the box and carefully put it on Linda's wrist. After putting it on, he kissed the scar on Linda's forearm with a tremble. Noah, swear that I will always love Linda." When Linda got home, her head was still in a daze, looking at the bracelet on her wrist. That trembling kiss seemed to still remain on it. Although Marius helped Olivia lie about the plagiarism incident, his attitude towards her became increasingly cold after they returned. Olivia thought through gritted teeth that Marius must still not be able to forget Linda. Linda had already left like a homeless dog, yet she still seemed to haunt him. Thinking of this, Olivia picked up her phone and sent a message to Marius. "Marius, I seem to be sick. Can you come and see me?" After all, she was the girl he had liked for many years. After receiving Olivia's message, Marius still went to her place. When Marius arrived at Olivia's house, Olivia was lying on the sofa wearing a camisole nightgown. Her face looked normal, and she didn't seem to be sick at all. Marius immediately understood what was going on when he saw her like this and was a bit annoyed. Just as he was about to leave, Olivia grabbed his hand. "Sorry, Marius. You've been so cold recently, and I'm a bit scared. So I lied about being sick." Hearing Olivia's words, most of Marius's annoyance dissipated. Olivia seized the opportunity. "Will you have dinner with me?" Marius didn't refuse again and sat at the dining table. Olivia poured 2 glasses of red wine from the decanter and handed one to Marius. Marius took it, but after just 2 sips, he felt that something was wrong with his body. He felt a bit hot and restless and couldn't help loosening his tie with his hand. When Olivia saw Marius's actions, she directly got up and straddled his lap, reaching out to unbutton his shirt. Marius looked at Olivia's actions and realized that this must be a trap set by Olivia. Enduring the discomfort in his body, Marius pushed Olivia, who was sitting on his lap, to the ground. Olivia didn't expect Marius to push her away directly and was a bit incredulous. Marius staggered towards the door, but Olivia hugged him from behind. "Marius, don't go," Olivia pleaded. Marius fiercely pressed Olivia against the wall. "I've always thought you were well-behaved and sensible all these years, even when you did some outrageous things. I thought it was because you cared about me, but you actually set me up. I really didn't expect you to be this kind of person." Olivia had been pushed away by Marius several times, and now he even laid hands on her. She couldn't pretend anymore. "Don't you reject me because you're still thinking about that woman Linda. What does Linda have to do with the matter between us?" Olivia suddenly laughed maniacally. "Marius, you keep saying that Linda pestered you and that you hated her, but now it seems that you actually enjoyed her pursuit and have always cared about her. Right?" Marius looked at the distorted expression on Olivia's face and said sternly, "You better calm down." Pushing Olivia away, Marius left directly. When Marius got home, after dealing with the discomfort in his body, he lay in bed and thought of the words Olivia had said to him. "You actually enjoyed her pursuit and have always cared about her." Marius murmured these words several times and took out the photo fragments he had picked up at the amusement park before. Marius rubbed the small fragments, and his mind was filled with the bits and pieces of Linda pursuing him and following him for the past 7 years. Only then did Marius have to admit that Olivia's words were right. He had indeed unknowingly gotten used to Linda being around him. The next day, Marius found Monica. "Where's the surveillance video of the room that you asked me to watch before?" Suddenly being asked by Marius like this, Monica was a bit slow to react. "What surveillance video?" "The video of the room where Olivia and Linda were in when the room caught fire." Monica looked at Marius sarcastically. "Didn't you say you believed Olivia before? You clearly promised me that you would watch it in the evening, but then a phone call from Olivia made you believe her again. Why are you asking me for the surveillance video now? Could it be that you regret it and want to win Linda back?" Facing Monica's sarcasm, Marius couldn't defend himself. Monica looked at Marius's silent appearance and continued, "It's too late. Linda sent me a message a few days ago saying that she has a boyfriend. His name seems to be Noah." "What boyfriend?" Monica was startled by Marius's suddenly raised voice. It took her a while to speak. "Linda is with Noah." Marius didn't want to believe that this was true at all. But Monica didn't seem to be lying to him. It's impossible. She must be using Noah to stimulate me, Marius muttered absently, looking at Marius's distracted appearance. Although Monica felt relieved for Linda. After all, he was her brother. She sighed and handed Marius all the evidence of everything she had found before. Think about it carefully. It might not be too late to win her back now, Monica persuaded helplessly. Marius locked himself in the room and watched all the evidence. Only then did he realize how wrong he had been and how much pain Linda had suffered before because he had blindly believed in Olivia. Marius began to regret it. He thought Monica was right. Maybe it wasn't too late for him to win Linda back now. As soon as Marius thought of this, he immediately asked his assistant to find out Linda's whereabouts. On the other side, Noah received the news and knew that Marius was trying to find out Linda's whereabouts. Linda, my assistant told me today that Marius is trying to find out your whereabouts. What are you going to do regarding this matter? Noah left the choice to Linda. When Linda heard this news, she was first puzzled and then disgusted. Why would he suddenly try to find out about me? Isn't he in a good relationship with Olivia? I heard that Olivia and Marius had a falling out. Noah put his arm around Linda. Linda pouted and was a bit unhappy. Just because he broke up with Olivia, he thinks he can come to me. Am I some kind of convenient backup? Linda didn't know what had blinded her in the past that she had pestered such a man for 7 years. No one knew that Linda had lost her memory. But he was still a bit worried when he knew that Marius was going to look for Linda. He was afraid that Linda might suddenly regain her memory and then get back together with Marius. Linda could see Noah's worry and comforted him. Don't worry. I've already seen his true colors clearly. No matter how much he tries to win me back, I won't be with him. With Linda's words, Noah felt much more at ease. Then why don't we go on a trip for a while? Linda didn't want to run into Marius again, so she agreed to Noah's proposal to go on a trip. When Marius arrived at Linda's house, looking at the door in front of him, Marius was actually a bit nervous. He rehearsed in his mind several times before raising his hand to knock on the door. It wasn't Linda who opened the door, but Linda's mother. She saw Marius at the door, recognized him, and wanted to close the door. But Marius blocked the door. Auntie, Linda. Marius's words were only half spoken when he was interrupted by Linda's mother. How dare you mention Linda? Our Linda is doing well now, and we're also satisfied with that boy Noah. Marius wanted to explain, but Linda's mother directly pulled the door shut, leaving only the words, "Don't pester Linda anymore." Marius stood in front of Linda's house in a state of despair. He wanted to ask about Linda's whereabouts again, but he had no reason to knock on the door. Having been rebuffed at Linda's house, Marius had to return to City A. When Monica saw Marius's dejected appearance, she knew that he must have been turned away at Linda's house and couldn't help asking, "Did you see Linda?" Marius shook his head. Monica wanted to tell Marius Linda's whereabouts, but thinking of the grievances Linda had suffered before, she thought it was fine like this. Let Marius find it difficult to win Linda back. Maybe if he really managed to win her back, he would truly treat her well. Thinking of this, Monica said to Marius, "Linda always chased after you before, and you didn't know how to cherish her at all. Now that Linda really doesn't want you anymore, you know how hard it is to pursue someone." Marius didn't refute Monica and let his sister lecture him. Monica was right. This was what he deserved. He had been wrong before. Marius was in a state of dejection for several days. During this period, Olivia came to see him several times, but he drove her away. Monica saw that Marius genuinely wanted to repent, so she helplessly told him, "Linda is back from her trip." When Marius heard this, he immediately wanted to go to City B to find Linda. Marius rushed to City B overnight. As soon as he arrived at Linda's residential community, he saw Linda coming out. Just as Marius was about to stop Linda, he saw Noah beside Linda. Linda and Noah were holding hands, and Noah said something that made Linda laugh. The bright smile on Linda's face made Marius lose his focus. He remembered that she had also smiled like this while following him before, but now that smile was for someone else. Marius didn't show himself. Instead, he watched them from behind the flower bushes, almost masochistically watching Linda and Noah being intimate. Marius followed Linda and Noah all the way. He saw them go to another residential community and go upstairs together. Marius could hardly hold himself back. He wanted to rush upstairs and stop the two of them. Just as Marius was about to go upstairs, he saw Noah come down alone and drive away. Only then did Marius calm down. Marius thought that they couldn't be for real. Noah's identity as Linda's boyfriend was just Linda's way of making him jealous. Thinking of this, Marius felt that he had hope again. The next morning, Marius dressed up carefully, bought a bouquet of flowers, and went to Linda's doorstep. As soon as Linda got up, she heard the knock on the door. She thought it was Noah and said while opening the door, "Why are you here so early today?" When Linda saw that it was Marius outside the door, she instinctively wanted to close the door. Marius was quick and blocked the door, offering the flowers in his arms to Linda. Linda didn't take the flowers Marius offered. Instead, she asked coldly, "How did you know where I live? You were following me." Marius didn't answer Linda's question and just started speaking on his own. "Linda, I was wrong about what happened before. I'm here to ask for your forgiveness." Linda was impatient to listen to what Marius was saying and just wanted to close the door quickly. Unfortunately, Marius was too strong, and Linda couldn't close the door. Instead, the door was gradually pushed open. Just then, Noah came out of the elevator. Seeing Marius at Linda's door, he quickly stepped forward, pulled Marius aside, and protected Linda behind him. "Marius, what do you want to do to Linda?" Marius didn't care about Noah and continued to confess his love to Linda. "Linda, I broke up with Olivia. I was wrong about what happened before, but now I've realized my mistake, and I've also understood my own heart. Linda, you don't have to use Noah to stimulate me anymore." Linda didn't understand how Marius could be so shameless. "Marius, I'm with Noah because he's a great guy, and I like him. It has nothing to do with you. I've made it very clear. We're even now." Marius didn't believe Linda's words at all and stubbornly talked about the times when Linda had pursued him before. Linda couldn't stand it anymore and directly interrupted him. "Marius, I've forgotten everything. Just let me go." Marius was stunned and asked in a trembling voice, "Linda, what have you forgotten?" "When you left me for Olivia, I had a car accident, and I lost my memory. I've forgotten everything about you." Marius could hardly believe it. Besides those 7 years, he had nothing left to hold Linda back. "Didn't you always hate me for following you? Isn't this good? I've forgotten you, and you don't have to be bothered anymore." "No, Linda, I didn't. I like you," Marius explained in a panic. Seeing that Linda had finished speaking, Noah directly pushed Marius, who was still stuck in his pain, aside. "Marius, Linda has made it very clear. Please don't pester my girlfriend anymore. Otherwise, next time, we'll call the police directly." After saying that, Noah closed the door, shutting the dejected Marius outside. Marius sat leaning against the wall by the door for a long time before getting up and saying softly to the door, "Linda, will you come back to me if you regain your memory?" Marius firmly believed that as long as Linda regained her memory, she would definitely be with him. After all, Linda had chased after him for 7 years. How could she let go of him overnight? Marius returned to City A and rummaged through his house for things related to Linda, hoping to use them to help Linda regain her memory. But after searching the entire house, Marius only found a sachet that Linda had made for him in a small box in the corner of the storage room. There was nothing else. Marius asked the servant, "Where are the things that Linda gave me and were originally in the storage room?" The servant replied, "Didn't you ask us to throw them away, sir?" Hearing the servant's answer, Marius waved his hand in annoyance and continued searching, hoping to find a bit more of the memories between the two of them. Marius, holding the things he had finally found, couldn't wait to go to City B. He waited downstairs of Linda's house for a whole day before finally waiting for Linda and Noah to come down together. Regardless of Noah being beside her, Marius handed the things to Linda. "Linda, do you still remember this sachet? At that time, you said." Linda directly threw the things Marius handed over to the ground. "Marius, do you think you can win me back with these things? I've already made it very clear. I don't remember, and we don't want to see each other again. Don't pester me anymore." Seeing Linda's resolute appearance, Marius wanted to grab her hand to stop her from leaving. Noah, who was standing beside Linda, directly blocked Marius. Marius was so angry that he directly punched Noah in the face. Noah didn't hold back either and punched him back. The two of them started fighting. Linda quickly hugged Noah around the waist and pulled him aside. "Noah, stop fighting. The corner of your mouth is already bruised." Noah wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with his hand, looked at Marius, who was in a sorry state, and spat, "If you come to harass Linda again, I'll beat you up every time I see you." Linda took Noah's hand and held his face with the other hand. carefully looking at the wound on his face. It's broken the skin. I'll put some medicine on it for you when we get back. Marius looked at the intimate appearance of the two of them and felt a sharp pain in his heart. Linda. Linda heard Marius calling her but didn't look back. She just held Noah's hand and walked towards the house. Marius wanted to chase after them, but he found that his feet seemed to weigh 1,000 pounds. In the end, he could only stand there and watch the two of them walk away. When Marius was in college, he had also had a conflict with others because of Olivia. At that time, Linda directly stood in front of him to protect him and even lovingly applied medicine to his wound. But he had thought Linda was annoying and directly pushed her away. What Noah has now, he also had in the past. It was he who trampled on Linda's sincere feelings. And it was he who personally pushed Linda, who had been deeply in love with him, into the arms of someone else. Marius stood there dejectedly. Even as night fell, he showed no sign of moving his feet. Marius. When Marius heard someone suddenly call his name, he thought it was Linda and quickly looked up, only to find that the one calling him was Olivia. Marius looked at Olivia with complete disgust. What are you doing here? There were tears in Olivia's eyes, and she looked at Marius pitifully. Marius. I know I was wrong. I was in the wrong about what happened before. As Olivia spoke, she tried to reach out and grab Marius. Marius dodged her hand and looked at her coldly. Marius's sudden evasion caused Olivia to stumble due to inertia and she almost fell to the ground. Olivia looked at Marius pleadingly. Marius, I really know I was wrong. Didn't you like me the most before? Hearing her say this, Marius became even angrier. How dare you bring up the past? I treated you so well, but you used me time and time again. Seeing that she still couldn't get Marius to look at her properly, Olivia simply decided to give up all pretenses. You think I have no shame for bringing up the past, but how can you have the nerve to talk about the past in front of Linda? You're no better than me. Were you following me? Olivia sneered. Yes. Otherwise I wouldn't have seen this wonderful scene. After being repeatedly rejected by Linda, and now hearing Olivia taunt him like this, Marius directly reached out and grabbed Olivia's neck. As Marius's hand gradually tightened, Olivia had difficulty breathing and her face turned red. Unable to struggle free, Olivia simply let go of her hands and started laughing. She said with difficulty, "What's the point of you laying hands on me? It was you who directly hurt Linda several times. Not me." Olivia's face turned from red to pale, and she was almost on the verge of fainting. Marius released his hand and threw her aside. Olivia fell to the ground, clutching her neck and gasping for breath. Looking at her like this, Marius coldly said, "I will reveal the truth about the things you used me for in the past." Marius thought that only in this way would there be the slightest hope of winning Linda back. When Olivia heard Marius say this, she panicked. She tried to get up from the ground, but after experiencing the fear of near death, her limbs were too weak to move. Olivia could only crawl on the ground towards Marius and grabbed the hem of his pants, pleading, "No, Marius. I spoke out of turn just now. I was wrong." Marius looked at the hand with which Olivia was holding the hem of his pants and found it annoying. Let go. Olivia knew that if the things she had done were exposed, she would be finished, so she held on to Marius tightly, hoping that this man would show mercy. Seeing that Olivia wouldn't let go, Marius kicked her hand aside and strode away. Olivia fell to the ground, looking at Marius's retreating back. She thought maniacally, why can Linda be doted on by two men, while I'm treated like this by Marius? Blinded by hatred, Olivia murmured in a low voice, "Will Marius come back to me if Linda is dead?" Because she was afraid that Marius would pester her again, Linda stayed at home for 2 consecutive days. Noah was worried that she would get bored, so he suggested that the two of them go on a date. Looking at the still unhealed wound at the corner of Noah's mouth and thinking of that shameless Marius, Linda shook her head. What if he comes to pester me again? Noah pulled Linda into his arms and kissed her on the face. It doesn't matter. I'll protect you. Hearing him say this, Linda hesitated for a moment and then agreed to his proposal. Noah took Linda to a nearby shopping mall. Just as they were about to enter, they saw Marius, who seemed to be haunting them. When the two of them saw Marius, they wanted to turn around and leave, but Marius quickly ran over and tried to grab Linda. Just then, a car suddenly rushed out from the side and crashed towards Linda. Linda was so scared by the oncoming car that she froze in place. When Marius and Noah saw the car heading towards Linda, they were both shocked and rushed over to pull Linda away. "Linda, get out of the way." Noah was closer to Linda and pulled her aside. However, because the oncoming car was going too fast. The two of them were still hit by the car. Noah protected Linda in his arms, and the two of them rolled to the side before coming to a stop. Linda's head hit the nearby flower bed. Noah held Linda in his arms. His leg was hit by the car, and his arm was also injured during the roll. Ignoring the pain in his leg and arm, Noah quickly looked at Linda in his arms. Seeing that Linda's head was bleeding and she was unconscious, he shouted at the people around, "Call an ambulance quickly." Marius also ran over at this time and wanted to check on Linda's condition, but Noah pushed him aside with his remaining strength. Noah shouted at Marius, "You'd better see what Olivia has done." At that critical moment, when Noah was holding Linda, he saw that the car that had crashed into them was being driven by Olivia. Marius looked towards the car and only then realized that the person in the driver's seat was Olivia. Olivia drove the car and hit Noah and Linda, and the car also crashed into another flower bed. All the airbags popped out, and the car's engine was smoking. Marius walked over to the car and pulled Olivia out. Olivia's head was also injured due to the impact, and she was not fully conscious when Marius pulled her out. Marius didn't care about that much. He directly pushed Olivia to the ground. "How dare you do such a thing? If anything happens to Linda, I will never let you go." The sound of police sirens and ambulances wailed in the distance. When Linda regained consciousness again, she was already in the hospital. Linda looked at the ceiling of the hospital and didn't react for a moment. After a while, she struggled to get up. The nurse beside her saw Linda's movement and quickly came over to stop her. Linda grabbed the nurse and asked anxiously, "Where's Noah? How is he?" The nurse quickly soothed Linda. "The patient who was brought in with you is in the next ward. How is he? Is he seriously injured?" Linda was so anxious that she almost cried, and her voice was filled with sobs. "It's okay. He just has a broken leg, and the rest are just minor cuts and bruises. There's no life-threatening danger." Even with this answer, Linda couldn't calm down. Only when she saw with her own eyes that Noah was okay could she feel at ease. Ignoring the nurse's block, Linda insisted on going to see Noah. Just as the two of them were at a stalemate, the door opened. Noah was pushed in a wheelchair by a nurse. Seeing that Noah was okay, Linda hugged him and burst into tears. "I'm so glad you're okay." Noah stroked Linda's head to soothe her emotions. "The doctor said you have a mild concussion and need to stay in bed for a while. You can't get too emotional." Noah persuaded Linda to return to the hospital bed, and he moved his wheelchair to the side of the bed to accompany her. "Linda." The door of the ward opened again, and Marius walked in carrying some nutritional supplements, his face full of worry. Noah and Linda both frowned when they saw him. "Get out of here." Linda pointed at Marius and said. Marius put the things in his hand aside and tried to explain to Linda. "I didn't know about what Olivia did. Before he could finish, Linda threw the things he had placed by the bed at him. Marius stood there without dodging, letting Linda throw things at him. "Linda, if this can make you forgive me, then you can throw whatever you want at me." Linda sneered. "Marius, don't you think that by playing the pitiful one in front of me, I'll forgive you? Do you think a few simple words of apology can offset the grievances I've suffered in the past 7 years?" When Marius heard Linda mention 7 years, he stepped forward excitedly. "Linda, have you regained your memory?" As soon as he said this, Noah looked at Linda worriedly. He wasn't sure if the few months he had spent with Linda could compare to the 7 years Linda had spent with Marius. Linda could see Noah's worry and held his hand. Then she turned to look at Marius. "I have remembered. But Marius, what makes you think I'll turn back? Over the past 7 years, have you ever shown me the slightest bit of tenderness? Even the things you used to try to help me regain my memory were things I shamelessly gave you. Do you have anything that can carry the memories between us?" Marius was rendered speechless by Linda's questions. Linda continued. 7 years have passed. You're tired of it. And I'm exhausted too. I've found someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. Please let me go. These words were both a rejection and a plea. "I'm sorry." Marius left these words and walked out of the ward, almost fleeing in a hurry. "Linda, is the person you said you want to spend the rest of your life with me?" When Noah asked this question, his tone was both expectant and nervous. Linda squeezed Noah's hand tightly and looked into Noah's eyes firmly. "Yes, Noah, Linda, want to spend the rest of my life with you." As soon as he heard Linda's answer, Noah immediately got down on one knee and took out a ring. "Although this proposal is a bit hasty, I can't wait any longer. Linda, will you marry me?" Linda looked at Noah in front of her. This proposal didn't have a cheering crowd or a noisy scene. But Linda could hear her own heart beating rapidly and the voice in her heart that she couldn't suppress saying, "Say yes to him." "I do." After returning from City B, Marius fell into a state of decadence. He locked himself at home and drank day and night. When Monica opened the door, she was pushed back half a step by the smell of alcohol in the room. After a moment, she pinched her nose and walked in. Marius was sitting on the ground, leaning against the sofa. When he saw someone coming, a glimmer of hope lit up in his eyes. When he saw that it was Monica, his eyes dimmed again. "Brother, stop drinking." Monica took the wine bottle from Marius's hand. Marius picked up another bottle of wine and took a big gulp. "What are you here for?" Monica kicked Marius and said impatiently, "I'm afraid you'll drink yourself to death." Although she said that, Monica still felt sorry for her brother and cooked a bowl of hangover soup for him. Marius looked at the hangover soup that was handed to him and didn't take it. Monica put the bowl on the coffee table. "This is a recipe I got from Linda." Hearing Linda's name, Marius's eyes moved. He picked up the hangover soup on the coffee table and took a sip. The familiar taste made Marius shed tears. Mixed with the saltiness of the tears, he drank the bowl of hangover soup clean. "Can you please plead with Linda for me? I really know I was wrong. I really was wrong." As Marius spoke, he sobbed and cried. Monica had previously told Linda that she wouldn't interfere in the matter between her and Marius anymore. She was just about to refuse. But when she saw Marius in front of her, pale-faced, decadent, and surrounded by a gloomy aura, the words of refusal didn't come out of her mouth after all. Monica sighed. "I'll go and find out Linda's attitude for you." Monica had just gotten home and was about to call Linda when she received a call from Linda. "Linda, is there anything you want to talk about?" "Monica, I'm getting married and I'd like you to be my bridesmaid." When Linda was pursuing Marius back then, she had told Monica that when she got married to Marius, she wanted Monica to be her bridesmaid. Now, although the person she was marrying wasn't Marius, Monica still remembered the promise she had made. When Monica heard Linda say that she was getting married, she was so shocked that she couldn't speak for a long time. "Monica, Monica." It wasn't until Linda's voice calling her came from the other end of the phone that Monica snapped out of it. "Sure, Linda. I'll definitely be your bridesmaid when you get married." Monica swallowed the words she wanted to ask Marius. Although Monica tried her best to hide it, Linda still noticed that something was off in her tone. "Monica, is there something you want to tell me?" Monica hesitated for a moment before asking. "Nothing. When are you getting married?" Monica thought that since Linda was getting married, she must have found someone who truly loved her. Linda had suffered so much grievance from her brother before. Now that she had found happiness, as a good friend, she should bless her. As for her brother, it could be regarded as a lesson for his inability to recognize people properly. When Monica came to Marius's house again, as soon as Marius saw her, he couldn't wait to ask, "What did Linda say?" "She's getting married." Monica felt that Marius, who had been standing upright in front of her, suddenly hunched over. He seemed to have lost his spirit, and the whole person suddenly became decadent. "Brother, Linda has already let go. You should let go too." Marius didn't answer and just remained silent. The day before Monica left for City B, Marius found her and handed her a jewelry box. "This is a comb I made myself. Please give it to her as a wedding gift." It was obvious who her was. "I'll give it to her." She stared at his handsome face for a long time before realizing that what Monica said should be true. "If she knows it's from me, she won't accept it." Monica didn't say anything more and took the box. Before the ceremony started, Monica handed the jewelry box to Linda. "This is a wedding gift for you. I hope you two will have a long and happy marriage." Linda took the gift box and opened it. She found a handcrafted sandalwood comb inside. After being stunned for a moment, she handed the box back. "Did Marius ask you to give this to me?" Monica didn't expect that she would know. At that time, it was popular to make handmade gifts for the people one liked. Linda learned from others and made a sachet, pestering Marius to accept it. Linda didn't expect Marius to make a comb for her. She just hoped that he could buy one for her. The gift that she had dreamed of getting back then had unexpectedly come into her hands like this. Linda even found it a bit ridiculous. "I'm married now. It's not appropriate for me to accept this. Please return it to him for me." Monica sighed and put the comb away. With Monica's help, Linda put on her wedding dress and was led by her father to Noah. "I'm leaving Linda in your hands. You have to be good to her always." Noah took Linda's hand. and there were tears in his eyes. "I will." The wedding ceremony proceeded in an orderly manner. "Please exchange rings, bride and groom." When Noah kissed Linda, out of the corner of his eye, he caught sight of Marius in the most remote corner of the banquet hall. Their eyes met, and Noah held Linda's hand and gestured in Marius's direction. Marius felt a bitter taste in his mouth and left the wedding hall. People always have to pay the price for their mistakes. He could no longer be the person to accompany Linda for a lifetime. "Noah, were you just greeting someone?" "It's nothing. Just an unimportant person." Linda put away her thoughts and looked at the man in front of her. The two of them interlocked their fingers. Under the gaze of their family and friends, she kissed her true happiness.